Hello and welcome to my presentation, Your Inner Lamprey, presented by Trinity Da Silva, exploring the evolutionary timeline between human and lamprey. Contents. As you can see, we'll start off with the research topic and why it's important and end with the conclusion. Why this topic is important. Your Inner Lamprey, my project. My project purpose is to show people just why it is so important to realize how much we're like our underwater friends. In my project, I'll state some anatomical comparisons, explain some ways that we're like fish, and conclude my presentation. It's important because a lot of times, humans in general consider ourselves higher or better in many ways, even subconsciously. When we realize just how much we're like the organisms that swim in the sea and breathe underwater, it can help us better understand just how many connections we share with fish. Lamprey facts and information. Lampreys are in fact not eels. Lampreys go blind after they return to fresh water. Sea lampreys entered through the Great Lakes through man-made shipping canals in the 1830s. Lampreys are jawless organisms. They are parasitic and sometimes called vampire fish. And their average litter size is 30,000 to 100,000 eggs. Now you can see why they're such an invasive species. How are we related to fish? Do we have gills? Kind of. We have lungs and a respiratory system. Do we have fins? Again, kind of. We have limbs, which arms, legs, long bones, all of those things. Do we have many layers of teeth? Yes, kind of. Before you have all your adult teeth and you still have some baby teeth, your adult teeth are just peeking out from underneath your baby teeth. So yes, we do have many layers of teeth. Lamprey, your inner lamprey. Dissection photos 1. In picture number 1, we have the gill openings and the muscle strata. In picture number 2, we have the ovary, liver, and skin. Picture number 3 is the male gonad, intestine, and liver. Picture number 4 is the muscles and gill openings. Picture 5 is again gill openings. Picture 6 is the gill filaments, which are marked in red, and the heart. Picture 7 is the muscle, skin, arteries, and veins. Veins are marked in blue, arteries are in red. In picture 8, we see the female lamprey, eggs, intestine, and liver. In picture number 9, which my head is in the way, is, let's see if I can move me. No, I can't, but it is actually a picture of the mouth of a lamprey. This is a lamprey anatomical sketch, which I've drawn based on the image that Udo M. Sabali took. As you can see, I've labeled all the parts of a lamprey, and it is the head and half of a trunk, which is very good to see for a lamprey because they have a very simple body plan. Here are some more photos. In picture number 10, we have the head and cranial cartilage. In picture number 11, we have the male gonad and intestine. In picture number 12, we have the tongue, the toothed tongue, and the lingual teeth from the back, so the head, the cranial cartilage, and the brain. Picture 13 is again the intestine and the male gonad. Picture 14 is the arteries, veins, and eggs. At the back, you see the cloaca. Picture number 15 is the liver and intestine. First of all, reproductive system. In lampreys, they have a single, large, unpaired gonad, and female lays eggs before the fertilization occurs. The gestation is 3 to 8 weeks. In humans, they have paired gonads. The fertilization occurs internally, and the gestation is approximately 9 months. While I was dissecting the lamprey, I noticed that in a female lamprey, the ovary doesn't have any tissue protecting the eggs. In lampreys, it's just the skin and lots of eggs packed tightly together. Circulatory system. In lampreys, we have the heart, which has 2 chambers, 1 ventricle and 1 atrium. And in the human, we have a heart with 4 chambers, which is 2 atriums and 2 ventricles. But what is similar is that both human and lamprey have arteries, veins, and valves. While I was dissecting, I observed that most of the arteries and veins in a lamprey are actually on the ventral side. Respiratory systems. Human. has a nose and or mouth, trachea, lungs. This is the path of air. In the lamprey, we have the pharynx, respiratory tube, then 7 pairs of gill pouches containing gill laminae. This is the path of water, which is a big difference in the respiratory systems. During my dissection, I observed that the gill pouches are actually very complicated, because the gill pouches contain the gill flaps, which then contain the gill laminae. The gill openings then contain the gill pouches, which then contain the gill flaps, then contain the gill laminae. Yeah, you see? It's very hard. In the digestive system, we start off with the mouth, teeth, tongue, and lips. Then we go into the pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas, then to the large intestine, rectum, and anus. In a lamprey, we have the buccal funnel, papillae, horny teeth, and lingual teeth, and then the buccal funnel, esophagus, intestine, liver, anus, and cloaca. I observed while doing my dissection that the small intestine is actually a very small tube in which waste flows through. It is only about the size of the tip of your pencil. Musculoskeleton. Humans have muscles which are comparable to myotomes in lampreys. They have a spine made of bony vertebrae comparable to cartilaginous endoskeleton, which means no true bones. Limbs and long bones instead of fins in humans, while lampreys have fins and ray supports for these fins. Another thing that lampreys have are notochords, which are fluid-filled cells in a connective tissue. During my dissection, I noticed that the notochord runs all the way back down the back of the lamprey, and the middle is fairly fluid compared to the spinal cord. What are some limitations of studying lamprey anatomy? Studying lamprey anatomy limitations are that they are a bunch of fish, not mammals, so a bunch of organs that have the same purpose have a different name. Areas of future research? Studying lamprey anatomy could help us patch up some spots in the evolutionary timeline and help control the lamprey population. Studying these organisms can also help with medicine. When lampreys bite into another fish, they secrete an anticoagulant in their saliva that stops the fish's blood from clotting. Another medicinal purpose is that some cells in the immune system could help fight strokes and brain tumors. Sources and citations. My 3 main sources were Your Inner Fish by Neil Shubin, Essential Clinical Anatomy, and the Mayfield School Lamprey Dissection Guide. My conclusion. After finishing my research and my dissection, I can safely conclude that an estimated 40% of lamprey anatomy is the same as human anatomy, following this simple chart. 2 out of 3, circulatory. 1 out of 3, respiratory. 5 out of 11, digestive. 2 out of 3, musculoskeleton. And 0 out of 3, reproductive. Keep in mind, this is a very simplified version of lamprey and human anatomy. The stars represent, the black means that it's not similar, and the white means that it is similar. Thank you for listening, and a big thank you to Dr. Da Silva, Dr. Triforos, Miss Fatima, Miss Kim, Miss Haney, Dr. Soares, Dr. Shaheen, and Arushi. Thank you.